Let's talk about how to go with the flow. This is me flowing to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and today's idiom is to go with the flow. This is one of those idioms that's centuries old. We're doing relationship-related idioms for the month of June to coincide with the BU 365-day annual challenge, our annual challenge to do one thing every day that improves us. And we're breaking it down by the 9 different areas and aspects of our life. It's a life framework that I use. I've used it since last year. I used to use Tony Robbins, and I don't remember where he got it, probably Jim Rohn or someone. But there were 7 areas and aspects of life that I broke my goals down to, and that I planned my businesses and different things around, because we want to make sure we're considering all of the key components of us as human beings as we're living our life, as well as building and growing and supersizing our business. So go with the flow is a very old idiom. It's attributed to the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius in the Meditations, where he talks about the ebb and flow of tides, and that it's better to just go with the flow of things sometimes than to fight against and battle everything, because you win more than you lose when you're going with the flow. Now, I would say that you can argue either way with this, depending on the situation, what you're trying to accomplish and what you're doing. But it just means you're moving with the prevailing forces in the environment and the trends, and you're going in the direction. It's like going in the direction of the river. If you're in the river and you're walking and you're going in the direction of the flow, and the way the river's flowing, it's really, really easy to walk in the river. If you're walking upstream and going against the flow of the river, it's really hard, and it takes a lot more energy and a lot more effort to do that. So when we're building and growing and supersizing our businesses, I say when it makes sense for us, we want to go with the flow. So I'm going to share 12 ways that you can go with the flow, not only in your business, but also in your life. And of course, I'll add some commentary based on some of the weird experiences I've had in my life. Because sometimes we absolutely positively, and I'm not going to say sometimes, we need to stand up for and be in alignment with what we believe in. I guess before I even start talking about that, I'll pontificate a little bit about the importance of being true to ourselves. And I've worked in organizations where they had some practices that I didn't agree with, and I didn't last very long in those organizations because it rubbed me the wrong way, and it didn't feel right to me. It wasn't the way I wanted to be doing business, and it wasn't a business that I wanted to participate in. And so we have to make sure we're matching what's true and feels right for us with respect to our core values and our beliefs, right? So what are some of these ways that we can go with the flow as we're supersizing and growing our business? Number 1, we need to eliminate distractions. When I need to go and I'm looking at a different stage or a growth spurt for my business, I need to eliminate all other distractions. I stop taking courses. I stop doing things that take my attention away from the goal and the purpose and objective that I'm trying to build onto. Number 2, we need to have clear expectations. And I have talked about this, I would say, hundreds of times for sure, if not more, in this segment, as well as everything else I do in my businesses and with the people that I work with. We have to be clear about where we're going so that people know what to expect for us. We have to all have the same end point, and we have to share and have conversations about what are my expectations. What do I expect of you? What do you expect of me? It's one of the first things I did whenever I started a new job, whenever I start a new business, whenever I bring on a new team member, and even new customers. We onboard our customers so that there's clear expectations in what we will and will not do and what we can and cannot expect from one another. Number 3, we want to add an element of challenge. Now, challenges are kind of my thing, so I don't have a problem creating a challenge and adding a challenging element to everything that I do. By having stretch goals, that's a way we can add an element of challenge to what we're doing. If we're just doing the same old thing as everybody else, it's not very challenging, right? We can just model what other successful people are doing and then create the same thing. But guess what? If we're only creating the same thing as everybody else, we're probably not standing out, and we're not supersizing and growing and creating the business that we want. Number 4, meditate proactively. That means think and use our brains to solve problems, to give us the energy and the ideas to do what it is that we want to do in our business. Number 5, of course, get active, get physical exercise, get moving. I say get moving. I have had rheumatoid arthritis since my early 20s, and so one of the things I learned early on was that the only way to deal with it is to keep moving. A lot of people that are in pain just freeze up. And if you freeze up and don't move, guess what? Pretty soon you find that it's so painful you almost cannot move anymore. So get physical exercise, get moving is a really important one. Number 6, reflect on your behavior. Pay attention to your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, the actions that you take, the things you say and do, and learn from those. Learn, because we're always learning, right? But be responsible for your behavior and then pay attention to it. Be aware of it and then think about it and say, is this how I want to show up in the world? And if it is, keep doing it. If it isn't, learn the lesson and decide how you're going to behave instead. Number 7, have shared goals. And I almost think this one goes without saying nowadays, but apparently not. But have shared goals with the other people in your organization. If everybody isn't working toward the same common goal, there are going to be problems. We've worked in I've worked with many organizations that there's pockets of people and they're all out for themselves. Back in corporate America, when I started there, I actually worked for an organization that did no budgeting. And I'd worked for companies before that did budgets. And the whole belief behind budgets was we have to get, and it's in government as well, we have to get and spend as much of the budget as we possibly can, which set up competition through the different functions of the organization, which weren't healthy. And so we would seek to make sure that we all had common goals. Yep, we all need a piece of the pie, but the pie is all building the same thing. And so how do we best assign resources based on the end goal of what we want to achieve? Participate with your cold. Participate with the people you work with, the people in your company, the people that you work with. I've always been a partial, not a whole, I'm not an all in, I do everything with everybody that I work with person, but I've always been a participant. I've always been social and interactive with people because that's how we build relationships, especially work relationships. Our work relationships, since we spend so much of our life at our work, we need to get along with those people, right? We need to have things in common. We need to know them so we know what's important to them. We want to know their strengths and we want them to know our strengths so we can share expectations and be clear on, hey, I can count on Steve for, technical information. I can count on Bob for mechanical and electrical information, whatever. Number 9, listen closely and attentively. This is one I continually work on for my entire life, is listening, being the best possible listener we can be, because I've come to believe that people will tell us everything we want to know, everything we need to know, if we just listen closely and pay attention to them. Number 10, say yes when you can. And I would say the older I get, yes, say yes and then figure it out. But I also know when to say no. And there are absolutely positively things we need to say no to, all the way back to number 1, to eliminate distractions. Number 11, use creative exercises. I call this one continue to learn and grow and become a better version of yourself. The better we become, the faster and easier it is to grow and build and supersize our business. And number 12, adapt to new situations. We all had a lot of experience in that over the last couple of years with the COVID pandemic and now the economy and inflation and all the crazy things that go on and have always been going on as we're building and growing and supersizing our businesses. So be flexible and adaptable and go with the flow, because that's how we supersize and grow. So love to know your experience with this particular idiom, go with the flow. I will tell you, I've heard this one my entire life because when I was younger, I was very rigid in my thoughts and feelings and beliefs. And so people would tell me, you just need to go with the flow and de-stress. And now I tell a lot of people, hey, we need to go with the flow on this, but we also need to stand up for what we believe in. So share in the comments below what your experiences are with go with the flow and how do you personally go with the flow. My cheat way is, and it's ever since I had my sudden cardiac arrest, when I wasn't going with the flow and I knew I needed to make massive changes in my life, I adopted this I choose not to participate belief. And I think that's where my propensity to say no to the things that aren't for me came from. Sometimes we go with the flow, and other times, and for me, I need to choose not to participate. I choose not to participate in the things that are not for me or don't make me feel good, right? So I choose not to participate in drama. I choose not to participate in politics. I choose not to participate in discussions of certain things in the work environment or in the business environment that don't have anything to do with the job that we're doing, right? And then I choose not to participate in things that go against my core values. So you get to decide too. But that's my way to go with the flow, is to choose, number one, not to participate in things that are in the flow of the mainstream that are not for me. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another relationship-related idiom to help us grow and supersize our businesses. Have an awesome day.